This is a video of my 1912 L.C. Smith & Brothers number 5. I got it this past December off of Craigslist. It was in semi-working condition when I got it. The drawband was broken and the escapement wheel was loose. Works pretty good now. Pretty interesting how some of the things work. You've got the backspace key up here instead of like to the side, like on a regular machine. And you've got a ribbon key instead of a ribbon switch. Kind of like an Underwood does. It has that 2-button switch that I would say teeter-totters, back and forth. But that works pretty well. I kind of like that compared to a switch. You got the shift lock here. My shift lock doesn't work properly. It doesn't allow the travel all the way and then lock. It just locks kind of 3/4 of the way, I guess you could say. But there's an issue with my shift mechanism to begin with. Something must be bent or out of place. I've taken it apart, but I still cannot find the problem. I have it adjusted now so that the capitals and lowercase letters are together on the same line, so it does work well. Pretty light shift for a basket that shifts up instead of down, like on a regular typewriter or even a later L.C. Smith. I had the platen replaced by J.J. Short. The original was cracked. I didn't touch the feed rollers. They have flat spots in them, but they hold the paper very well. And I have other machines, younger machines, that when you roll the paper through, as you roll the paper through, it starts to move over off to the side. But this one stays pretty true, which is surprising. The rollers on the paper fingers are really, well, they just don't work anymore. That looks like somebody tried to replace them or something with some type of rubber. I'm not really sure. But the paper fingers hold the paper tight to the platen, so that's good. You've got your roller release here. You've got these on either side. These are so you can remove the platen from the machine. You have them on either side. You loosen the screw and slide them back on either side. This is your paper release here. This is one of your carriage releases there. This is that, I guess it's a finger hold just so you can kind of move the carriage over without using the return lever or the line space lever. You have another carriage release over here. This is your line space switch here. You lift up on it and it has an indent. Well, there's a spring inside here that springs it back and locks it in place. All the way back is 3, all the way forward is 1, and in the middle is 2. L.C. Smiths are kind of interesting with this mechanism, but it works very well. I've had one other machine with a right-hand carriage return lever, kind of like this, which is the Remington Standard 10. That was quite a few years ago I had that. One difference is that machine has a front frame like an Underwood would, so you could grab the return lever with your thumb and just pull it over. This machine you kind of have to brace the return lever because there's no bracing up here. It's just all back here. So, it's more comfortable and easier to just brace the return lever and then pull the carriage over. On the back I have 3 tab stops. One of them looks like it's from a later machine, but at least I have a couple of them. You've got your margin release, or your margin stops here and here, your tabulator mechanism. I'll try and demonstrate that. You see how it moves and everything, and then it comes out and catches that. Interesting how the tabulator's on the carriage itself. Pretty interesting. I have one of the original spools for the machine, but I do have the original thumb screws, which is good. Overall, the cosmetic shape of the machine, condition rather, is not bad. It's not bad at all. The pinstriping is still pretty visible. The decals are in nice shape. It seems as though it looks like there was some material on top of the machine when it was in storage, so it kind of roughed up the paint on the paper table and on the top deck. The pinstriping on the top deck is missing. But otherwise, the pinstriping is everywhere else on the machine, which is nice. Especially being 105 years old, you'd expect it to have been worn away by now. There's even a decal on the back. It's patent protection and everything. Alright, we'll do a quick typing test. There you go. It's a very quick machine. You can get going pretty fast on this machine. That's the 1912 L.C. Smith & Brothers number 5.